I've always been very interested in the intersection of the performing and the visual arts. I love museums and I've always been drawn to museums, but also I experience them in a very static way. When I met Zach, he is in charge of the programming here, and he said that he is also interested in bringing some performing arts into the space, but he hadn't quite found the right fit yet for that. And I immediately jumped on that. I was like, let us come in, let us do something. This is exactly the kind of project that I want to be involved in. And because we have a history of doing devised work, which is sort of making work with a group of people out of nothing, he was very excited about that. Could be something that we do here, where we use the space itself as our inspiration and the art on the walls as our inspiration to make a piece of theater.
This idea of fostering collaboration and learning is something that we do at the museum every day. Two organizations become greater than what they are individually. Not only has that happened on an organizational level, but it's happened with the exhibitions, right? Our exhibitions are now extending out of the walls and sort of through people. And that's just really, it's not something that happens often in museums.
You gotta take a picture of it, otherwise how are you gonna remember?
I think the hallmarks of Liz's process is making theater accessible to everyone. I'm not a theater professional, I'm not trained in theater, but I was able to participate.
There are people who aren't experienced, there are people who are in school for theater right now, there are people who do theater on the side, and there are people who do theater and performance full-time. So it's a real range of not only experience, but also age, which is really great.
This is a line that when you're on a stage in a real theater, you don't get to always jump in and out of being in the audience and being on stage. But we get to do that because look at how easy it is.
I might have the role of director, but I'm constantly listening and looking and seeing when people have an idea of, oh, this is maybe how it should move. And my job is really more facilitator than it is director, because I'm not coming in with, oh, I know what this is going to look like. You're going to go here and this is going to go there. And da-da-da. That's never what I come in with. I come in with a bunch of questions. How are we going to do this? Can you what is this going to look like? You show me, let's see what works. And also working collaboratively with Eric, who's our art director.
So if we can do, that strumming pattern was like a little more open, great. And then if we just have four, but you can hit it hard, because we gotta fill, that guitar needs to fill the cantina room.
Okay.
So, just to get everybody over. And then once the singing starts, we can bring it down.
Having a collaborator who is also a visual art person and a music person has been so helpful.
For me to see how something is built from scratch, from the creative side of it, has been huge. Normally what I do, we already have like a script, we come in with everything kind of prepared, and I'm just like technically executing to make that better. But this was, really just from dust.
They asked me how long I needed to make a piece of performance, and I said, I think I could do it in 4 weeks.
We've only got 5 rehearsals, which includes a dress rehearsal, so it's really 4 rehearsals and a dress rehearsal, 1 week apart from each other. It's just really cool to see how fast it came together and how strong it feels within that short amount of time.
Look at this table.
Look at this table.
Again.
Look at this table.
Look at this table.
Yeah.
That's really good. That's really good.
It doesn't bother me that the actors have really no idea what's happening at the beginning, because I know that the end result will be really great.
Different people wrote different scenes. There are movement pieces written by the cast members. We've got some singer-songwriters in the cast. So we've got some original music inspired by the artwork here.
I know a statue's not a man. Come on now, I'm not blind. But this one opened up my eyes, and I began to find.
So what if the thoughts, shapes, conversations, and images of other people's experiences stayed in the museum after they left? And what if you could walk through them? That's the kind of guiding question of this show. Can we walk through these experiences that other people have had before us, and what would that look like?
Before our first actual rehearsal, there was an opening party. And I invited all the actors to come to that party, and I asked them to not look at the art, but to watch all of the people looking at the art.
I was watching people and they're walking around with their hands in their pocket and like briefly glancing at their phone. So we got postures, and that's what you see in the beginning with the statue positions.
These two pieces really transport me.
I used to eat at this table at my grandma's.
Did you see this portrait? Look at her teeth.
It took the sort of conversations that I hear, when I'm walking just through the galleries, and it turned those into artwork.
Is there a cafe here? I love museum cafes.
I don't think so.
Oh, they should have a cafe. I've heard.
We also kind of test the boundaries of like what's acceptable in a museum. We come into a museum or a library or something and we have to behave a certain way, right? We all just kind of know the rules. We're purposely trying to break some of those just to see what does that feel like. Why can't we have a dance party in a museum?
In addition to choreographing the movement of my actors, I also have to choreograph the audience's movement. And it's not quite so simple as saying, hey audience, come over here. We're trying to find artistic and creative ways to make it feel intuitive, that they're gonna move from this piece to this piece. So using sound, using light, sometimes using actors to create walls. Certainly moving the audience through the space is one of the most complicated things that we've had to solve.
I looked around and I really wasn't planning on writing a song. And then Liz emailed us saying, write something up, a script of something you overheard. And then she wrote optional songwriters. If you want to write a song, go ahead, a 1-minute song. So I was like, okay. The piece that I based it off of was this one. It's a leaf, and written on the leaf is, to Mom, I know you're at Aunt Nancy's somewhere in Connecticut, but there's a dangerous girl-biting deer who's currently biting on the bark of my tree.
I think a very unique part of this piece was the use of the composition notebooks because they contained reflective work that we did during the process. So we actually built a piece of art, a piece of sculpture out of our process. It actually opened the show in a sense because we built it right before the performance began, and it was the end piece in the show.